Good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to 606 Garage. I would say it's been a while since I videoed, but I ain't posted none yet. So when you're gonna get flooded with videos eventually. Back on the Capri, I'm gonna go ahead and change this intake out. I have ported a factory Ford intake just like this one. Yeah, I've actually just painted it. Did a few things to it. I should have videoed taking this thing loose, but I don't want to get everybody excited about running a carburetor, because if everybody knew how fast it was, you could change the carburetor and intake on one of these cars. Everybody want one. But then you'd be forced to learn how to work on one. Nobody wants to do that, right? But anyway, hopefully more and more people find out that this is a simple way to go. It's easy, but it's never going to be fuel injection. You can get it close. I say close. You can get it close to like 90s fuel injection, but you're not going to get it close to a fuel injection today. But in the flip side of it, you got an old car, right? It's an old car. It needs to be an old car. They're not hard to tune. There's been carburetors on the road longer than there has been fuel injection, so they worked. They worked well. Back to what I'm saying is, if you've been, hopefully you've watched my previous videos before you got to this one, we are taking this Capri and making a hot little street car out of it, and we're doing what we can with what we've got. Now, we've actually got a lot of parts to try, but I want to see what we can get out of what we got. I want to see if it's worth a while to take the time to grind one out, port one, whatever, versus going and buying one. I would love nothing more to put this new intake on that I've ported and then change it later and see no increase in performance. Highly unlikely that's going to happen. But it would be awesome if that's what happened. That means that we've made progress with what we've had. Now, obviously, you can take the Edelbrock, RPM, whatever, and then you can port it, and guess what? Now you're in a better position than what you was with this one. Some people just got more time than they got money. I am one of those people, and I actually don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to throw this intake on here, and we're going to take it down the road with a draggy. Right now, the best it's done, 1602. Now, granted, this car is like a 1922 car when I first started. Easy. It's a 2-barrel car. I put the 4-barrel on it, and I took the single exhaust off of it, and I put dual exhaust on it, and I ran a 1675. And then the only change I made from there is I took the 273 rear end out, and I put a 327 posi rear end in it, and it went a 1602. So that was a pretty good substantial drop right there. The way this car runs, if you shift it past 5,000, it's going to run slower. This car just the way this motor's tuned, about 4,800 RPMs. That's when this thing really hits its sweet spot, and that's when it carries on to the next shift. That is its premium shift point. Now, getting ready to do a 5-speed. I'm going to see what we get with this intake and stuff, though. Everything works out and stuff, we're going to put a 5-speed in it. Now, I do have a set of GT40 E7 heads. This has got the E4s, I believe, if that's such a thing. E4, E5s. They're terrible. They're really terrible, because when I put the headers on this thing, like, you couldn't even stick your finger in the exhaust port. And E7s are pretty bad. Not as bad as these. Now, if you look at an 83 motor, 83, 84 motor versus this motor, those motors have like 45 more horsepower than these do. This is a 140 horsepower motor. I'd be lucky to be getting 160 out of one right now. I definitely need to do something. I'm going to put a set of E7 heads on it with the ported intake. But we're going to put the intake on it first. But when I put the E7 heads on it, I'm going to drill this block, and we're going to put a HO roller cam and lifters in it, and a retainer. I've already tried this. I did a practice run. And I made a stop for my drill bit. If you take the recommended drill bit size, which I think is 17, I can't remember, it's like 17/64 or something like that. That doesn't sound right, but it's something along that lines. And I take a 5/16 brake line, cut it to length, and I sleeve that drill bit, and that stops me on that block. That was the best way I figured out how to do it. Is the easiest way to figure out how to do it. So basically, I just slide my drill bit in there, put my stop on the drill bit, drilled it, tapped it. I used 2 different taps, starting tap and a bottom tap. Worked out fine. I just put studs in it, but that was just a practice run. I'm not even going to use that motor that I drilled. All right, moving forward, I'm going to get back on this. We're going to get this on here. I seriously doubt that I'm going to start this today because I didn't work on it yesterday. I was kind of busy, and I haven't been feeling good. I had kidney stones. Good times. But I just now, I've got this intake painted. I got the epoxy in the EGR. Basically, I just flip it upside down, tape it off, and mix up a bunch of epoxy and let it fill up that port. Done. EGR delete. Another reason I did it is because the spacers don't cover that up completely. So I'm going to get back on this. It'd be a wonder if I get this intake on here today. I do got to relocate the coil because this car right here, it's got a brand new heater core in it, no hoses. I don't like the hoses. But I am going to put the heat crossover tubes on it. You know, cut the one off, weld it up, and grind it down, paint it. I got to get a couple plugs because I got to plug the temperature sensor on it. And I've got new hoses. So basically, it's going to have the steel crossover tubes running across this intake. I think it looks clean. I don't like rubber hoses running all over the place. I just assume I have heat. But it's cold, I want heat. So we're going to make it, you know, suit us. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, I'm going to get started. I actually got to run the parts house, the hardware store. I'm going to get some 3/8 brass freeze plugs. I'm going to get some thread sealer because I don't like tape. I hate tape. I think it looks like crap on an engine. I hate seeing thread tape on an engine. So usually get some some kind of a pipe dope that I can clean it up real good, clean up close to the seams, and it looks good. So let me get started, and I will give you some updates. I'm going to show you the difference in this intake and the intake that I'm going to put on it. As soon as I get this thing pulled off here, which will be like 2 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever. And then I'm going to have a decent video on the two. So stay tuned. All right, got the intake off. Wasn't none to it like I figured. Minimal antifreeze and a lift valley, easy to catch. All right, so let me show you the difference in these intakes and we'll get going. As you can see, these are pretty small ports. Looks like I didn't line it up that great. I'll have to do better next time. But anyway, small ports. If you look down in here, see how those sharp edges? I mean, it just messes up everything. And this, not to mention just this big deep thing. And same here, straight sharp. We made a lot of modifications to the other one. I like this piece of I-beam. It helps me hold things. So, but yeah, this is where we're at with it. And actually, let me get another. I got some more gaskets. Yeah, I think they're about the same size. So that's this intake. All right, now this is the intake we're going to. You can see she's opened up quite a bit. Round it off. You want a nice radius on any air movement. I could have probably took that down some more, but given the amount of air that this engine's gonna pull, probably not gonna be all that. My epoxy set up, this is how I did. I just basically mixed up some epoxy and I poured it right down that EGR until it filled up the port. So I'll probably scuff this up, clean this up. As you can see, these ports are quite a bit larger. Let's see, head side. They are quite a bit larger. And yeah, these are the ones that I used, I think. 100% sure, yes. Yeah, these are the ones that I used to port this. Now, I wanted them a little bit smaller than the intake gasket just because, in case the head was. And I believe, looking at it, the head is a little bit smaller than the intake gasket. So, this should make a huge difference. I say huge difference. I probably won't even feel the difference. But, as long as it looks good, and as long as it works good, that's all that matters to me. So, if I can't feel it the seat of my pants, hopefully I can see it on the time clock. So let me get this thing finished prepped and get on here. Okay guys, got her back together. Other than I gotta mount that coil. Gotta mount that coil to that strut tower there. I had to relocate it because I put my crossover tubes right here. So now I can drive in the cold weather. I checked my RTV front China rail there. It's still soft, and I remembered I'd use that Harbor Freight RTV there, so I'll probably regret that. Like I'm going to regret these Amazon hoses. I think those are going to be a regret. Other than that, everything went back smoothly. I'm glad everything's back together. I just need to drill and bolt that coil to that shock tower. I'm gonna call it a day. I can't start this thing anyway, and it's just sitting here killing me wanting to start it. Whenever I get my, I'm gonna just go ahead and start getting these E7 heads ready to go. I've got a camshaft ready, rollers, lifters, all that stuff. I've already got it ready to go on the car. And I'm also working on a set of E7 heads right now. I'm porting them. It seems to be the popular thing to do right now. Everybody's talking about it. We will do that. And I will probably actually port the E7 heads. I will have some kind of a cam in it, whether it be a B cam or just something I can find. I'm not looking to spend a lot of money on this thing. It's gonna be, I'm gonna do the valve springs one time on those E7 heads. The ones I port, I will put a set of beehive springs on it. For some kind of a lift, you know. No more than 550 because it'd be a waste of time. Anything much past a 520 lift on an E7, pretty much a waste. So if I can find a B cam, I got some 172 rockers, and I will machine the heads for studs and guide plates. That I can do myself. I just need to have them surfaced, and I'll let them look at the valves and see if they need to be reground or if they, you know, maybe I can lap them in. I don't know. But that's where we're at with it today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Sorry, it's that RTV's just not setting up fast enough in the front. It needs to set up for a couple days. I'll check the weather, but yeah, I'm ready to see what this thing will do. I'm pretty happy with, I didn't think I was going to be done with this today, but I got done faster than I thought. Guys, have the great rest of your weekend, or whatever day it is, whenever you watch this. I hope it's, you know, just a great day. Hope everything's went your way. I've had a lot of fun with this car. I'm having a lot of fun with this car. And honestly, I recommend anybody doing this. Go buy a stock 5.0. I don't care what it is. Go buy it. And it ain't got to be pretty. I mean, there's enough stuff out there. You can buy anything to fix these cars, anything. And I'm going to tell you what, if you just get past the nerve of trying to fix it, you can fix it. I mean, you can do anything. It's just a matter of fail. You have to fail to succeed. And I'm falling on my face right now, but I'm learning. This is gonna be a fun car. I am gonna go ahead and start gathering everything up for the 5-speed. I got the T5 up there. Come out of a 90 later model 90s Mustang. I think it's a V6 transmission, but I believe it's the same as the V8. I do have the shorter input shaft conversion, the steel bearing, and the steel thrust plate retainer. So if I'm gonna take it apart, we'll put a little bit of effort in the transmission. That, you know, it's gonna break. Let's make it last a little while though. I say next month I'll go ahead and start ordering the rear end stuff. I have a 373 gear rear end ready to go in this car, 8.8. But I am going to build one 31 spline rear end, 430 gears. I'll probably just run 1/8 mile with it. Quarter's a lot funner. It'll run a 1/4 mile, 430 gears. It just have its tongue hanging out for sure. But there's a group that I like to associate with, and they're going to start running some 1/8 mile races. And I mean, this car by no means is going to probably outrun any of them, but I'd like it to be somewhat competitive, you know. So let's I'm gonna get on it. I don't know when that is. March or April, maybe June. If it's in June, we'll be in good shape. Hell, if it's in June, it might not even have its motor in it by then. I don't know. We're just gonna keep pushing it till it bends a little too far. So guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Plenty more to come. And we're going to have a ball with this car. And I said I wasn't going to restore this car. I don't feel like I'm going to restore this car, but I thought about it today. If I do get a point to where I get another one of these cars ready to mess around with on the channel, drive it, you know, whatever, I think I'm going to paint this car orange and put a black interior in it, because there's something about an orange Capri. I just love them. I love orange cars. So, but we'll see. I mean, I kind of like the white and orange. It looks pretty good too. So, guys, have a great weekend. See you later.